You're welcome to the View Writing Podcast. Recently, I sent a newsletter, and on the newsletter, I talked about planning your goals and writing goals for 2024. Now, there are so many approaches out there. For me, I know I've set goals a lot of times. Year after year, I've done New Year resolutions, but at the end of the day, I can't even remember what the goal was in the first place. And it's 2, 3, 6 months in, and I'm like, wait, what happened? Wait, something happened right now. You tricked me. It seems someone just make made the time go so fast that I did not even know, could not even remember. Like life just gets in the way that the goal no longer becomes something that I can even remember, let alone get myself to do the things I wanted to do. And so what happens, we take the resolution to the next year. And then again and again and again and again. So I came across an approach called the 12-week year, and I was like, wait, what's this one, 12-week year? First, it caught my attention because I know that a year is 52 weeks. Why are you telling me 12 weeks? Like, what's this? It's a new concept. So I watched the video, read the book to understand what the idea of 12-week concepts was all about. And the idea of 12-week concept is most people set goals for the year. And it's wonderful. But at the end of the day, we know it doesn't work that well. It doesn't. At least I know that it doesn't work for me. I've set so much writing goals that I wanted to do, things I wanted to work on, but I can't even. Sometimes I'm like, wait, but what was the goals? What was the goals again? What did I say I was going to do? Something like that. Now, the second thing I was looking at was, wait, sometimes I have so many goals that at the end of the day, I don't get to do any of them. And I'm like, wow, like, wow, not in a good way, but wow, like, what's wrong with you? Like, wrong with me? So I saw this planning a 12-week year, and your idea is simple. You're going to select 1 to 3 goals for the next 12 weeks, which is the first 3 months, which is a quarter. But it doesn't really matter when you start. You can start counting from that time, but it's usually 3 months. As long as it's 12 weeks, that's what matters. And you're going to set 2 to 3 goals for the next 3 months. Now, the approach is to set goals that are smart, that are specific, measurable, actionable. What's the R again? Real, something like that. I don't know what the R is. And time bound, smart. And I know we're like, oh, well, we know what smart is, but do we really understand what it is? Because sometimes we have goals and we set goals that are, okay, for me, you can set any goal you like, but for me, I'd like to set goals that are within my control. Okay, not goals that, by when I say within my control, it doesn't necessarily mean that these writing goals, I have the part, I have to do them. Like, of course, the goals should be big, but these are goals that, okay, I can do things towards getting them. Like, I just don't have to wait to be lucky. It's more like, oh, I set my goal for this year is to win the lottery. Like, yeah, there's things I could do. I could buy more lottery stuff or a lot of stuff. But that stuff is just, the probability is just luck you get of getting that stuff. It's unlike, okay, I could build the skill of becoming a better writer and write a good book and put it out there. It's quite different from, like, that's just pure luck. Now, of course, you can be lucky in different things, even those things that require efforts too. But I want something that it's very straightforward. Okay, this is what I need to do, so I can track progress. I know that, oh, I'm working towards the goal. Because sometimes output, which is what we usually set at goals, they are time lagging. So with time lagging, what that simply means is that the time when you see the output, it is not as a result of the inputs you put in. It's simply something you've done in the past. So the input you're putting in today, you're going to see the output maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. Sometime, yeah. And what happens is that if you're setting output goals, you might not be able to control those things. You get, and sometimes the input does not correspond. So instead, we want to walk back and say, what do we need to do? So we're like, okay, I need to create a routine of writing 30 minutes every day. And I need to work on 5 projects. I need to work on 6 projects. That way, when you take those projects, you have something specific that you can put your effort on, something specific that you can work on, something specific that you can uh, track progress over time, which is great and even better. So we've talked about SMART goals. So now that we've talked about SMART goals, the thing is, with the 12-week year, which is in essence 3 months, you'll say, okay, these 2-3 goals that I want to work on for this quarter, I'm going to walk back from the goal down to this time. So what are the things I would need to be doing over every week, every day, or every week, over the course of 12 weeks to realize this goal? And that's why we talked about specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be realistic, and it has to be time bound. Because we don't want to set a goal for a goal that, okay, you will know that, of course, it's good to be ambitious, but there are certain goals that you can do those, you can do the goals, you can reach those goals, but time, you have to be patient. Time is part of the process. You get? So it's not like you can't do it. You can, but you have to look at time. You get? So you take the goals, and in 12 weeks you set it across each week. Now, when you set the goals across each week, what you do next is you have a kind of like a system where you track what you're doing and you create a kind of a model week. So if the first thing you're like, okay, I want to write poetry, okay, first week you select your themes for poetry, and you take kind of like a mood board of things that inspire you, things that you think of, what you like to cover and stuff like that. And then we do it for the first week. It's written down. And then next week you're like, okay, you write the first draft of the first 3 poems, and you do that, okay? And then next week, you could probably do another first draft, or you do anything. Like, depending on how you need to work back to realize that goal, specific things you need to do. Not, okay, you're not going to say that, okay, let's say, for example, I'll give an example. Let's say I want to get 1,000 listeners or 10,000 listeners on my podcast. You're not going to say, don't make the mistake of, okay, first thing I would ask myself is, what are the people that are getting 10,000 listeners doing? Like, what are they doing? So in 3 months, I will say, okay, I want to post once every week, and I'll post 12 episodes. That's one first thing. Okay, what else are they doing? Want to post consistently on social media around the podcast and stuff like that. Okay, we'll do that. Now the results will come, which is great, but we want to create an effort and input system such that we get to do those things irrespective of whether the result comes or not. That way it's easy to measure and easy to show up. Yeah. So I've been looking at the plan, the year for 12 weeks, and while I'm looking at it now, I'm like, for a long time, I've been unrealistic with my life. For a long time, I've had so much potential. But because I refuse to show up, because I refuse to sit down and do the work, I have not realized the things I need to realize. I have not done the things that I need to do. And I'm saying this not because of, okay, just writing. I'm saying this because I have been lazy throughout everything in my life. To the extent when people ask me, what are you passionate about? What can you do without thinking? And I'm like, what can I do without thinking? Being lazy. And it's, of course, you have those things that you like, you love, you want to do, but there's just this laziness that cripples everything down and makes it seem as if you don't like the thing. No, in the actual sense, you like the thing. And most people would say that, well, guy, it's not about you saying you like or you do not like. Your actions speak louder than your words. And what do you do? That's what we want to know. And I think one of the perspective we look at is like, oh, I'm a writer, I'm a this, I'm a that. And I'm like, I just shake my head. And there are two things I need to know if you're really a writer. First, I need to look at your account balance, your account statements. Okay, what have you been spending money on? Now, this might not really work for everybody because not everybody like earns a lot, but even at that, is when I mean account statement, I'm not necessarily going to look at your bank, but kind of like fictitious. If you were to craft, if we had a record of all your account statements, where is your money going to? You know, you can't say, "Oh, I love this thing." Yeah, you love this thing. Okay, you love writing, you love stuff, but you've never bought a book, you've never done anything. Okay, if you can't afford a book, that's a different scenario. Yeah, we're like, oh, you can't afford a book. You say, but okay. Now, account statement doesn't really show that much because some persons might be broke, but they love the thing and they do the thing and they don't even get to spend money on it. So the next thing, which is the most important, is your time. Like, I love this thing, I love this thing. Yeah. How many hours of your life, your time are you spending on this thing that you love? Like, well, I love writing, but for the past 2 years, I've not written. I'm not saying you don't love it too, but what I'm saying is, actions speak louder than your words. Actions speak louder than your words. And I know that a lot is possible. I'm having so many ideas in my head right now. I know a lot is possible. I know a lot is possible. But I just need to show up. I just need to create. I just need to be there. I just need to do the hard work because hard things make us go where we want to go. That's the approach. That's the idea. That's the concept. Over in the forthcoming episode, I'm having ideas on how I can really double down on the podcast. And I've asked if you have any question or you want to send me a message on the podcast and you love the podcast, you want to give me feedback to make it better. And you're like, oh, the podcast, I don't really love it. It's crap. I would love your feedback. I want to hear about it. Go to viewwriting.com/speak and you'll be able to send me a voice note, a voice message. Uh, yeah, a voice message. Also, I would be doubly down on video podcasts, inviting guests and doing interviews and concepts and ideas. I'd love to know what you want, the ideas you have for ideas, shows, or series you have for the build writing for poetry, creative writers, and short story writers. Yeah. So in the forthcoming episodes, what I'll be talking about will be I'll just take a section and sit down and prepare my plan, print the templates and prepare my 12-week year, my own goals and yeah, walk you through what I'm planning, every decision I'm making, why I'm taking the goals and all that. So the same thing I'm doing for video podcast. Right now, I feel that I don't have the tools, I don't have the capacity, none of those things. And I'm like, yeah, those things are not there. But see, sometimes we might think we have a problem, but it's not a problem. It's just that we don't know how. Sometimes the solution to our problem is like within us. That when you zoom out, you realize that that's not a problem. Take for example, if you're stranded, like I have no transport fare, but known to you, your back pocket has like 10x the amount you're looking for transport fare. This happened to me before. And then because you don't have any transport fare or anything, and you're in a place where you're really stranded. So what do? Maybe you can't even call someone to send you money or any of the stuff. You beg people to help you with transport fare, and you shouldn't be doing that when you have 10x transport fare with you. So the same thing with video ideas and all that. Creating and writing content sometimes is not as hard as we think. We process this, we visualize the difficulty, and then we don't get to do it. Yeah, it's. I'm not going to say it's easy, but the picture we've painted in our mind, the picture I've painted in my mind as writer, as writing, is more torturous, is more hard, is more difficult than what is in real life. And when you come to think of it, in essence, the pain, the struggle, and everything we feel, we suffer, and everything, we don't actually feel it per se. It's our brain that feels it. So if I was to pierce your one of your fingers with, let's say, sharp needle, your hand is not what is feeling the pain. It's actually your brain that's feeling the pain, or kind of like, getting, oh, that's something pierced me. Woo, woo, woo. So that's why I said there's certain persons that have this disease condition where you pierce them, except they see the blood coming out, they don't really know if someone pierced them or if they're injured, and they don't feel pain. And so when we understand that with our brain, what we see that is as right as our brain can visualize and put us in a state of deep pain, even without feeling that much pain. So we can feel how difficult writing is, even without it being as difficult physically. Yeah. So I do have plans, and right now I'm at a state where I've so much talked about my plans that even to talk about them, I just don't feel okay. But I'll just talk about them as we go, and I'll do them. What I want to do as much as possible is I've been thinking and looking for ways to burn my bridges. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, the point in time. Yeah, I think I remember the story of one of these adventurers, and what was his name? I can't remember exactly, but they went to one of these Indian, was it Indian country, or just one of those countries where they saw different persons for the first time, and they were scared of the persons they saw on the land, and he knew that these guys they were going to run away and stuff like that, and so the goal was we're going to explore, we're going to move, we're going to discover. It doesn't really matter. So what did he do? He simply burned the boat, and they took all the supplies, and then they burnt the ship, destroyed the ship. Now, with the ship destroyed, the option of running away, the option of going out, the option of not uh, continuing the journey, the option of not showing up has been cancelled, because right now you are. You have to think of ways to survive. You have to think of ways to relate with these people. And they did I don't know, I think they were successful with the plan, but simply burn the bridges so we can show up, burn the bridges in a way that we cannot, even if we want to, we want to, oh, I want to give a speech, you don't have that option anymore. You've slashed the option. you know I think it's more like as a person, let's say you want to do business, you have a passion for business, you have a passion to create a firm or something to grow, make money, and to help the world too and solve problems. Of course, we all like to profit and make money. Now, I'm giving these business examples, yeah, but even though I'm talking about writing also, yeah, well, I know you get the analogies I'm making. So you quit your job. Now, of course, that's a very big decision. But if you were to say, I want to burn my bridges, what you would do when you quit your job is, now you've quit your job, you don't have any job or anything. Now, when you're in the business, when you're doing the business, you're like, how can I do this 10x more so that I can, guarantee it? Like, oh, because now you don't even have any option to fall back on. It has to work, or it has to work. The option of, oh, if it doesn't work, that option is not there, because you don't have an option to fall on. But if you have that backup and you're like, if it doesn't work, I just my job is there, and it's not really a big problem. Let's just do this one small, small, and see what happens. Right now, you're not seeing what happens. No, you like do one thing, you like 100 of it, and so when we do things like that, sometimes it rules out the factor of luck. So we're like, okay, it's not that I'm lucky. Okay, I did this thing, and yeah, of course, it's good to be lucky, but it's more even better to have skills, and I think that's one of those things. We can't be lucky all the time, and that's why it's lucky. Because if you're lucky all the time, well, I can't really. I'm not an expert in luck. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I am Oyemichi Wakona, and you're listening to the Build Writing Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, keep writing. If you have any questions, go to buildwriting.com/speak and send me a message. Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. What ideas do you have? What would you like to see in podcast? What have you been dying for to see in the podcast? I'd love to get your ideas. Yeah, right now I'm recording this outside, and on my Spotify platform, nobody, just one person listens to it. Now I'm not even sure if that one person is a bot or so, but every episode I drop, he listens to it. So that's why I'm recording this podcast, hoping that he will listen to it too, or he or she. I don't even know. If it's he, if it's she, but it's a person. At least that's what I'm thinking. That it's not a bot. Okay, and that's why I'm recording this. So I'd love to get your feedback. Like it's not because of it's one of those things. No, I'd love to get your feedback. Yeah. Thank you.